Welcome to another edition of CPR's Clubhouse Live. My name is CPR Jose Ortiz, and I'm being joined by Alex Zuñiga of Latin Nation. Alex, welcome to CPR's Clubhouse Live. This is the Unsung series, and there's a reason why I invite these artists to the show, and we name it the Unsung series. And we're going to discuss you because you are a unsung hero in the freestyle community. And we'll get to that during the process. But I want to welcome you. We go 25 years back now.
Unbelievable, right?
Yes, it's unbelievable that we go back that long. I go back to the Asylum, Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes, and I go back to your brothers, you performing live at the Asylum. It's all hip hop all night, right? And then out of nowhere, Noel Silent Morning starts kicking in, and then you perform with your brothers, and you rock it to the point where La Nation at the time became a household name in Connecticut. So, what do you recall of that? Going back that far, 1990 something, and you performing in New England and Connecticut.
Well, the funny thing that you mentioned that, because there is a person that I wanted to ask you. I think I asked you this before, but anyway, that day we took the ride there and parked outside because we wanted to be there early. As we get there, we meet up with Tara from Prime Time.
Yes,
and I forgot who else she was with. I think it's Starlight. But we get there, we run into Point of View. Peter showed up too. We were all just chilling, hanging. So I forgot who was the one that hired us there. Take us downstairs, and all you hear is just hip hop. And my brothers and I looked at each other and was like, "Are we in the right place?" Like we just hear strictly hardcore hip hop. I'm talking about Big Pun, Biggie, Wu-Tang kind of styles. And I'm like, oh Jesus, she's gonna get booed the hell out of this freaking place. And then all of a sudden, I would never forget it, as Peter and I being headed out to the backstage, if you will, we hear from Stevie B. Spring. The whole place goes crazy. And I'm like, okay, we're in the right place. We're in the right place.
Yes. So one of my biggest pet peeves at freestyle shows is the fact that they choose to play reggaeton, hip hop, and all that stuff, and then right before showtime, they're playing something totally different, merengue, whatever. So people are in the groove, and then they're gonna stop them to have freestyle perform instead of warming them up for a good 10 minutes. You know what I mean? And it was one of my biggest pet peeves. But it was an introduction to New England. Connecticut, they embraced you. La Nation was embraced. 89.3, 91.9 WHUS. All these stations that were playing freestyle at the time, they all embraced you, and they all were playing you and your brothers. How did it feel at that time?
I was gonna say you all forgot 12:30 a.m. Also played us. Dr. Seuss. I forgot the other guy's name, Porky, and but I can't remember the other guy's name that used to play us too.
There was Bad. What was that? Super Dave. Yes, there was Peter. There was Peter C. Super Dave. Bad Influence. There was a lot of different DJs at the time. Now we are the Soul Survivors. Clubhouse Dance Music still going strong every week, every Thursday 6 to 8, and every Friday 8 to 12 midnight p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're proud of that because people have come and gone, but we still continue the tradition. And speaking of tradition, you're a very traditional artist. You and your brothers were very traditional. You had the mindset of earning every single thing that you got. No shortcuts, just earning one fan at a time, one quote unquote hater at a time. But you still went out and you performed. And you guys did everything that you could. You're getting photobombed on the back.
Yeah, Sebastian running back and forth.
But again, it's an earning situation. Where did you get that quality from? That you want to earn everything, you and your brothers.
So when we first got picked up by Tito El Comandante, God rest his soul, he just passed away 2 months ago. My manager at the time, when he picked us up from a backyard, because we were just dancing in the backyard of somebody's house, and we were just singing.
Yeah.
And he just took the chance with us, and it was Leo at the time. Caesar was too small, so it was Louis, Leo, and myself, and IQ. But IQ left, and Leo stood. He said, "What was the name of the group?" So I said, "Latin Society."
Mm-hmm.
He goes like, "We already got Information Society.
Yeah.
Like let's just come up with something else." And at the time, Chrissy Ai's song, what's the name of the song? Love Desire
Yes.
was playing in the background. And there's a part of her song that said, "I see reflections in your eyes."
Right.
So the reflection part, I'm like, well, let's just name ourselves Reflection instead of having a C, put an X
Right.
to make it different. And so he told us, well, now we got to go to the studio. We went to Smack Studio in Passaic, and Cookie at the time was trying to produce Only Cries. And something happened between Tito and him that we ended up going and working with Mate, who now works with Romeo Santos.
Right.
And Mate took us in. He was more of a house head, so he put that spin on Only Cries. Went to Ecstasy Studio, recorded with Louis Lou and DJ Fresh, and then he said, "Now you have to work on your clothes. We got to go and practice." So
Yeah.
every weekend after school, it was rehearsal time. And it was rehearsal. Our first show was at the time Montclair College. Now it's a university,
Yes.
and we performed with One Way, which at the time was Third Trend, Latina, and I don't know who else, but they put us on first. And as we're performing, all hyped, all amped, my parents come for the first time to see their kids perform. Somebody gets stabbed right in the middle of me singing Only Cries,
Wow.
literally in front of us.
Those are the good shows. That's how
Yeah,
you know you made it.
yep. Everybody scattered. That was it. That was the end of that show. And but the whole thing was that we had to earn. We were doing for free,
Mm-hmm.
performing every college that we got the opportunity on, performing at halls before going to our first performance at the Underground in New York City. That was
Right.
our first show. So it was earning the fans, earning our show, earning our names by doing what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't take shortcuts. There was no such thing as shortcuts. And trust me, we had Micmac close the doors on our face. We had High Power close their doors on our face, and High Power out of all people.
Yeah, they
Uh,
take anybody.
exactly. And who was the other one? I think it was Cutting Records also that we went to some. Elvin Molina was the one that tried to get.
Yes. WNE.
And we got turned down, but we kept fighting. We kept pushing, pushing, pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until 95 that we went into Latif, from our friend Swan that introduced us. He loved Nunca, and he said, but it's all in Spanish, because I wrote it all in Spanish and all
Right.
in English. He goes, "How about you just put it bilingual?" I said, "Sure, why not?" We did it bilingual.
Now Latif is a semi-controversial person in the freestyle community, right? Because we always have those conversations that you see on social media about who's fake, who's not. But in your opinion, and your opinion of Latif, what does he mean to you and Latin Nation in your career?
Latif means a lot because it was because of him I was able to leave the tri-state area, if you will, because I did Connecticut, I did New Jersey, I did New York, some Pennsylvania stuff, but it wasn't to the mass. It wasn't to the mass. So when he took Nunca, I gave him Nunca and Only Cries, he went for Nunca. He got producer Tommy Lyons, aka K Style, to produce Nunca. And we have like about 5 different versions of Nunca before we released the version that everybody knows.
Right.
But it was him that took us to California, took us to Chicago, to Texas, to San Francisco, to Florida, to Philly. You
Right.
know, that is what made us, and that was in 95 through 96 and 97. The problem that, the fallout that we had was, it was minor. Is more because of talks behind the
Mm-hmm.
scenes that drove us away from him and made us just change our name to Latin Nation. But I do respect him because it was because of him that I became a household name.
Yeah, I remember Styling Free, the compilations. Not too many quality songs on there, but that's neither here nor there. That has been the norm for freestyle for a long time. You get compilations and there's one or two good songs that people take to, and
Hot
then the
record,
rest of it is like questionable.
hot records.
Yes, yes, yes. Hot records. But these are things that the distribution company like Hot made the norm back then. But these are things that people did because they didn't know any better back then. Now we're more smart to the way the business is. Now you can do things on your own, and that's one of the reasons why I commend you and sing you this unsung series. Have you on this episode because the respect for the way things are done, tradition is there from you, but also you've you've come like it's been like what 3 or 4 decades of you doing this on a yearly basis, and you're doing everything the right way, no shortcuts, and just earning one person at a time. Your your career took a turn. You lost your brothers, and that was hard for you and for you to continue. When you lost your brothers, was there ever a thought of not continuing the Latin Nation name, or just not continuing? Period.
It was. Lewis died in 2000 of liver failure. Something he ate messed up his liver. He only lasted a week before he passed. I took it very hard because Lewis was there with me from the very beginning. Caesar came in later on.
Right.
Um, but at the end of the day, they're still both my little brothers.
Yes.
Caesar took it the hardest. They had a huge bond, and because of age difference, I'm the oldest out of the two, and but they had a bigger bond than we did. And when Caesar passed, due to pneumonia, he fought for a whole year with a common cold, and then he went from fibrosis to bronchitis, and then pneumonia is what killed him, leaving a little girl behind. So I took it hard, and I really didn't want to continue after that. Like I didn't find the love for it anymore, just because of that. But because of Freestyle Nation, because the bloom of social media, aka threads,
Right.
um, the support that I got, I printed them all out. I still have those printouts of people just supporting me and giving me the love and giving me that don't give up kind of thing.
Mhm.
It was then that dawned to me to make my own thing and not follow the trend and not try to get signed. I said, fuck it, I just do it myself.
Right.
And I came up with New Style Records. And Sebastian, would you stay still?
Well, that's good that we see Sebastian there because he becomes a big part of your career, and there's a song dedicated to him. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But hi,
Yeah.
Sebastian. Welcome to the show.
Sebastian,
You're also an unsung hero here.
hi.
We love you. Hi, Sebastian. This is the best part about doing this is the live content and the fact that you have your son in the background, but I'm not. I'm smiling because I see him in the background jumping while you're telling your story. But I remember the community really coming together to support you when both your brothers passed away at individual times, and I can't imagine that because I have two brothers myself, and so the support and love really came forth from the community, where they wanted to support everything and anything you did. And that created the Alex Zuñiga force, the Freedom Force. That's what I call them because they were very much protective of you. If anybody,
Sebastian.
if anybody would say anything about you in a negative manner, it didn't matter. They were the force of freedom will be coming out to support you. So I remember that, back then, how I used to get into trouble if I would say anything negative about you. Um, but it was great that those people really took to you, not only because of what happened to you and the loss of your brothers, but because of you and what you meant to them.
No, it meant a lot because I didn't realize how many people we had touched with our songs. I didn't
Mhm.
realize how big we have gotten because do remember social media wasn't it like it is now. You know, I found out I have fans in Chicago and Texas and stuff like that through Freestyle Nation, through those threads. They're telling me, "Oh, I'm a big fan of yours." Like, big fan of mine. Like, where did you hear my song? Oh, I'm in Mexico. I'm in, you know, in Puerto Rico. I'm in, you know, Chicago, Philly. You know, so it was overwhelming to me when I got those, you know, sympathy messages and telling me not to give up and push me harder. And I just took all my demos, which I wish I had the mentality I have now, that I would have mixed and mastered those songs properly.
Right.
Instead of just putting a whole bunch of demos and just say, here you go. You know, that, because that's what I did. I just grabbed all our demos that we had, especially Dreams I Have and Vente Vamos a Beber. If you hear all the hissing, that's from a cassette. I didn't want to lose my brother's essence of what they did with me at all. And the only thing that saddened me out of that whole album was that I never had the chance to record Caesar to do his own song. Because that was our plan. And unfortunately, he passed away. So in 2001, when he passed, no, in 2002, I decided to do this and name the album Angels in the Skies. I did a limited edition. I did a 1,000 CDs, and they sold like that. Sold like that. I could not believe how fast I got rid of them. Now people kept asking me, "Are you gonna do more?" And I'm like, "No, it was a limited edition. I just made this, and that was that. You know, I'm moving forward after that."
Because then you press again, and it's like, I have 1,000 CDs here.
Exactly. So, but I was honored that people actually did it. You know, and I sold them with no social media, no, you know, CD babies, no label being signed. It was just basically, I got a message. I want to buy it. Give me your address. Send me your money order. Here you go. You know, and I did it. So with that mentality, I was like, well, you can do your own thing. You don't need major labels to help you. You know, if you really believe in your product, you just push it. You just have to work hard. That's the problem.
welcome back to CPR's Clubhouse Live. This is the Unsung series. I'm being joined by Alex Zuñiga, Latin Nation, as we continue going down memory road. We go back to a few songs that did make it to number one on Clubhouse Dance Music here in Massachusetts. We go back to Charisma, the song that you dedicated to your daughter. This is a song that it was like an underdog song at the time. It was a song that we didn't really think much of, but then it became something that people really appreciated at the time. What inspired you, other than your daughter, to write this for her?
I having a daughter, like I always wanted a little girl, and when God blessed me with Charisma, was a magical moment, especially just promoting Nunca back and forth and No Puedo Más.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I wrote the song, I sang it to Artie, and Artie fell in love with it. And then I told him, like I have some video clips of my daughter. I would like to put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you even telling me where you got the baby sample from. I said, no, that's my daughter. So Artie fell in love with the VHS because it was on VHS. And he took it, sampled it, whatever he sampled, and then he wrote the song. And I will never forget it. It was like yesterday. My brother Louis had just went into the hospital when I went to record it, so I canceled the session. And in the hospital bed, Ed and Mi Vida was already picking up, and I went to see him, and I told him, hey, we're getting a gig in Chicago to do Ed and Mi Vida, so I need you to get better to get out. He goes, please don't do no shows without me, but please don't do Charisma without me. And then he, as he said that, I was like, nah, I canceled it. When you get out the hospital, we're gonna go record it. And that was the last day I saw him. So when I went to the studio to record, I couldn't do it. Like it was so hard for me to sing my daughter's song. And Artie went into the vocal room and told me, just close your eyes and think who you're doing this for. Charisma, and my wife was there. And I saw the tears on Sally's face and seeing the 6-month-old baby just like no care in the world. And I just looked up and I said, Louis, you're with me in the studio. And I sang it. And, like we had a couple of pauses because he wanted certain keys.
Mm-hmm.
But the song you heard was heartfelt and meant so much because of my brother's passing and because of our baby girl.
I always remember that, and I remember the heart and soul that you put into that song, and I'm like, is that his background? Like, wow, And then you're talking about how much she means to you, and then you got to revisit it recently with Charisma. I believe it was 2020, right?
No, 2015. It was for her 16th birthday.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So you did Charisma 2015. For some reason, I thought you did a 2020 remix. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. Yeah. But I think that was excellent. The fact that you got to revisit it again. So not only did it make the countdown back then, but it made the countdown in 2015. And so that's awesome, and that's a great accomplishment, especially with the story that you talk about with your brother. Also, we have Tu Eres Mi Vida, which is the song that really put you on the map. When it comes to our area in Massachusetts, I think that the sample in the middle with a little bit of the reggaeton, right? Like that really influenced people to really love this song. How did you get that sample in the middle of the song? What did you come from? What did you get the idea for trying to put reggaeton into a freestyle song?
Well, at the time, reggaeton was blowing up, was getting to be more known and whatnot. 97, I went to Willie's house in New York City when he was living in New York, in Manhattan, and I told him, listen, I want to do this new song that with you, but I want to use the Mona Lisa beat. And he goes, oh my God, that'll be great using the Mona Lisa beat. But he couldn't use it because the bass line, doom, 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 doom. So he kept interfering with the music he was playing. He goes, don't worry about it, I'll recreate it. And then I told him, but I also want to add reggaeton. And he goes like, why would you want to add reggaeton to a freestyle track? I was like, Nobody's done it. I want to be the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been me. I always like to test the waters. And so he goes, send me something so I can hear
Mm-hmm.
and see if I could come up with an idea. Of course, I sent them Don Chesina, one of the songs from Don Chesina. And all right, no problem. I'll see what I could come up with. So he called me into the studio. I went to the studio and I heard what he was doing. And then he's like, I can't do the transition from freestyle to
Mm-hmm.
reggaeton. Like there needs to be something. I said, so how about doing something that I can just stop the song before you kick in? And he goes like, okay, but what were we gonna use to stop it? Animal House. Over? You said over? No, in the song. And the kick it, and then he kicked it in, and then he added up the. All right, let's go kick it back to where we
Mm-hmm.
you know, like whatever it says, the sample. That's how we came up with the song. And then at the time, we were always performing with Rudy and AKA GK Baby and Jay Nice from Los Atrevidos, which is Rudy's legit brother. So I asked him, hey, I want to hop in and do some stuff here. So Jay Nice is the rapper on Eddie Mi Vida, and Rudy is the Ant-Man.
Right.
What? What? They're doing the whole thing. But I never thought it was going to do anything. It was just an idea.
Believe you me, when you go against tradition, you think, why do they do that? But once we played it on Clubhouse, Jesus and Juice Vasquez, Louis, they just blew that song up. As a matter of fact, you performing in front of 10,000 people, right? And we always talk about that magic number, right? And it's in the annals of history. You performing in front of 10,000 people and doing just that part, and the way that people went crazy when you guys did that, it's just an amazing sight. And you have the video of that as well.
Correct. And unfortunately, I wish I had the camera facing the crowd. I
Right.
recorded Artie and legit, with the
Yes.
crowd, but they recorded me on the other side. But it was just so exciting to see the smiling faces, the people getting into it, screaming their lungs out, singing
Mm-hmm.
along. That was the best part.
Yes.
Singing along. I knew that something special was created.
Yes.
Then following up that song with Charisma, and I will never forget seeing Philip Anthony bringing my daughter onto the stage, and everybody's just like screaming.
They just melted, and then they went crazy. Yeah.
And it's one of those top 5 videos that shows that I told you not so long ago that it's implanted here that would never ever go away. It was a beautiful moment.
I also go back to the times that I always said no to you after that, because I always held those songs to a higher standard. So when you kept on recording, and I didn't hear some of those songs be as good as those 2 songs that you put out, I'm like, come on, Alex, And so for many years, I would say no to you.
Yep.
And there was always respect there. There was never a like, okay, we'll try again. You were getting plays somewhere else. I can't say that you weren't, and people were respecting you, and that's where a lot of the arguments happen with you and your force there, the Alex Zuñiga Freedom Force, right? But the fact is, and that's the name I just gave them. I just felt that people were coming to your defense for a reason, because of all the respect and love they had for you. But then in 2014, you did Everything, and I was like, this is awesome, And I made videos of it and whatever, little memes, but the song is amazing, and to this day, I can listen to that all day. So talk to me about Everything. That song, how did it come about?
So I was buying songs from Jay Allums to do different projects, different things, and one day I just said to him, I was like, listen, I just want to do one full production with you, just you and I, nobody else and whatnot. And Jay said, all right, well then come by the house and we'll come up with something. So I said, all right, no problem, because I didn't have anything and he didn't have anything like
Right.
what I want, So we went to the studio, and it was George Anthony's house or Juan's house, one of the two.
Yeah, the studio in
Other
the
ones.
basement. Yeah.
Yeah, in Jersey City. And we were downstairs and like we're like I'm laying back, like got there about midday and we're thinking and thinking and thinking and all of a sudden Jay just played a key. And I'm like, yo, I like that. So all right, let's just lay down some groundwork, if you
Hmm.
will. He did that, came up with the beat. He came and did that, came up with a bass. He did that. And as he's doing that, I'm like writing, writing, and writing. We stopped to go get pizza because like my brain was fried, his brain was fried. So let's just go get pizza. We walk to the store. We're talking as we're walking. We come back. GA came down. He was like, "What you guys coming up with?" And we showed him. He's like, "Oh, that's coming out good. Let me know when you're done." Right. I never expected to have that song completed that day. My expectation was like, okay, this is what we got. I go back home
Hmm.
and write something, then I come back to the studio.
Yeah.
It took me back to '88 when I did Only Cries, going into the studio and just spending the time
Hmm.
recreating everything.
Yes.
So we finished the music and we fell in love with it. And I told him, well, this is what we have. You know, like this is what I have written. So Jay Allen said, I hear you singing this. And he started singing. I said, all right. So we wrote that down. So we started writing it right then and there. So he goes, all right, well, let's just do some ground vocals and then you could come back and redo them. I said, all right. I started singing it. He goes, yo, I like what you're doing. You should do this. You should do this. I want to do this. And we kept going, 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 going. By the end of the time frame, 12 in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
we had the song done.
Yep.
The only thing
And
that
that
was
and that
missing.
is the brilliance of Jay Adams, right? People don't understand all the work that he does in the background to assist in the project. And I love that. And I didn't expect George Anthony to also be in the backgrounds of any of your music, but it happened as well. So this guy has been, freely doing backgrounds, and he did them for you. How did you feel when he did the backgrounds for you?
I fell in love with it when he did the background vocals because it was simple. It wasn't even nothing out of, you know, George Lamont style, Johnny O style, like
Hmm.
that's, yelling and doing overlaps. It was just sweet, mellow. Like, and this is something that I admire about GA that he doesn't make a song about him. He makes it, he wants to make sure that you shine.
Hmm.
And him doing everything in the background was amazing. The funny thing is that GA had did something previously for one of the artists on my compilation, which it was Brian,
Yes.
for In the Class of Our Own Volume 1, Where Are You Now? And even that song, if you listen to it, GA is not outshining
Hmm.
Brian. He's just melting the song through. And that's when you respect somebody who's doing backups. You're doing backups for somebody. It's just for you to melt the song down. But at the end of the day, you can't outshine the singer.
Right.
And that's GA. GA did that for me many a times. So
Yeah, and in 2021, you could hear him doing backgrounds for Monet, and it's such a great compliment because it brings you back to Jimmy Tunnel. So I call him GAT, George Anthony Tunnel, because it's an homage to the '80s. Where Jimmy Tunnel will just blend
the
properly with
man.
somebody there. So we have our own modern Jimmy Tunnel, George Anthony. But I didn't think that you can top everything, and you did. And this is what I mean when it comes to topping songs. You did a song called "Better Than Me," which to me is my favorite song from Alex Zuñiga. If you get to listen to the song, the passion that you put into the song, telling a woman that you deserve better than me, and the story that comes with that song, and then the production that comes with that song, I think it's to me your best song to date, in my opinion. Talk to me about "Better Than Me." How did that project come about?
So that one, I didn't have a producer at the time to do the song. I had an idea and I decided to write Better Than Me. I I was going through something and my brain was just in writing mode.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it, and I know I had spoken to Willie 2 years prior
Yes.
about doing a production for me, and he was drunk, and he gave me a price, so I held him up to it, and he's like, I can't, I don't think I ever told you. I was like, trust me, you told me, because I don't drink, so trust me, you told me. And that's why I follow up with the emails. I kept, every time we talked about it, I forward to him the same email, so he knows you said this.
He must have had a mata, you know, the 0.55% alcohol got him done.
Una parcha with alcohol.
Yeah.
So so he said, all right, well, I got this beat that I'm working on. I'll send you that. I'll finish it once you do the vocals. So he sent me, which I released the demo version out. That was the original beat that he sent me. So I said, all right, fine. Now I got a beat. I got these lyrics, but there's something missing, or there's something wrong with it. I don't know if I was too wordy,
Mm-hmm.
or I wasn't singing it well enough. So since I was working with Susan and on a lot of those projects, I asked Susan, can you help me write this? You know, like, this is what I got.
Mm-hmm.
This is my idea. Here you go. So she goes, all you got to do is take this, take that, add this, do this. I got you. She sends me the ghost track of her singing the song. I was like, oh, this is so fucking awesome the way this sounds.
Yes.
But I think we need to change this word and do this. And I said, I'll take care of that in the studio. So I went to the studio. I was planning to go to the studio, and I hit up David Lavoie because he was on my previous compilation. I said, hey, listen, I really would like for you to do backups on this song. He goes, no problem. I'll go into the studio. Don't ask me what possessed me to ask GA to come by.
Uh-huh.
So I asked GA to come by, and I did all the vocals on it, and did all the changes that I needed to do. And then GA said, I hear this. So, Artie, get into the booth, because we recorded at Artie's. Go to the booth, go to the booth. So he started doing a backup. I get a text from Willie. And Willie goes, when are you going to record the song? I said, I'm recording it right now. I'm at Artie's recording the song. He goes like, well, I'm around the corner from Artie. I'll stop by. I said, sure, why not?
Uh-huh.
So he came by. So now we got 4 guys in the freaking studio.
Yeah.
Just trying to come up with the harmonies for what GA did and the harmonies for what David did. And so David did his harmonies, GA did his harmonies, and they would just came out the way it came out. So we sent all the vocals to Willie. Willie said, I will get this done ASAP. 2 weeks later, Al, my computer crashed.
Wow.
I'm going to have to do the beat from scratch. But I have another idea, so I'll use that idea. So I was bummed out because I love the beat. I love, like. So I was like, fine. So then he sent me what you guys all heard, and it was like, so I sent it to Susan to get her stamp of approval. She goes, "Oh my God, Alex, I can't believe you did this." And I said, "Thank you," because it was a creative mind, and that's why I always said I missed that from the industry, the working together.
Yeah.
The Aldo Marines, the Metropolitans, the Micmacs, of how you just read those credits and you see produced by, vocals by, it was such a long list of people involved with one freaking song. And that's what made this song special, because it was Susan Santiago, Willie Valentin on productions, Artie on the studio and vocals, GA and David Lavoie on vocals. You got 6 people on one freaking song.
Yeah, and it's an amazing song. Better Than Me, my favorite track from the Alex Zuñiga catalog. But this is the reason why I feel that you are an unsung hero. And let me explain. There was a time where artists would wait for Willie Valentin to come out with compilations, so then they can go record something and have him release it. You know what I mean? And just sit back and wait. You know what I mean? So you, at a time where freestyle was not producing as many songs, you would also try to partner with other people, and you came up with a class of your own, if you will. You came up with compilations where you featured artists yourself, because at that time there were many artists that were not gambling on themselves like you were, or putting out compilations like Willie was. And there was a time when Willie took time off and wasn't putting out compilations. So to me, you're an unsung hero because you created your own brand and you released In a Class of Our Own, and you involved a collaboration of different artists together to put out your own brand and your own compilation. The concept of In a Class of Our Own, how did that happen?
So back in 2004 and 5, I had this idea of helping helping artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I will never forget it. I had in the living room, Caramelo, Cherie,
Mm-hmm.
Victor Vega, Josephine Vega, um, Ricky, and we just threw out an idea. I said,
Mm-hmm.
like, I would like to put a CD of just us, Aina. I just want to put a CD with just us. And since we all got different fan base, if we sell them to those fans, they'll know who the other artist is.
Right.
That was the main idea. Obviously, it never worked out.
Mm-hmm.
It fell through. I just did my thing. They all did their thing. Ricky reached out to me. I'm gonna say late or mid 2000, right
You can't
before
call him Ricky anymore. It's Ricardo Vasquez.
Ricardo. No, you gotta say it right. Ricardo Vasquez. You gotta say it
Hashtag, hashtag the plus
plus size
size
model.
model. Okay, just put that on there.
So he hit me up and he said, "Hey, listen, me and Joey T are doing a compilation, and I know
Yes.
this is an idea that you had. I would like for you to be a part of it." So okay, no problem. So I went and we did the first compilation. And when we did the first compilation, I wanted to be extra sexy, so I decided to do a threesome song. And and as we putting it together, and they sent me the first cover. And no disrespect to Andrea Martin, because Andrea Martin did the first cover,
Mm-hmm.
but I just didn't think it was the I want to get
Mm-hmm.
the CD. You know,
Right.
it was just missing. It was very cartoonish, if you will. And I
Yes.
know a lot of people were doing cartoon kind of
Mm-hmm.
covers, and I'm like, I said, if you guys don't mind, I would like to change that cover. I said, but who are we gonna get to do it? I said, let's get Artie, because Artie had just gotten into doing covers and artwork and stuff.
He did mine.
So I told Artie, hey, listen, this is what we got. I would like to come up with a concept, an idea. So he did the cover for the first one. So for the second compilation, Joey T told me, Alex, I would like for you to do more into the compilation. What I wasn't happy about the compilation was that they were doing a lot of favors, and I wasn't in favor of that.
And believe you me, I heard all of it because I said what I said on social media. And of
Mhm.
course, back then I got backlash for it, but I was right.
Yeah, and I told them very clear, honest, how I felt about it. But I said, listen, it's your comp. I can't really say anything. You know, I'm investing money on certain people. LSP was one of them,
Mm-hmm.
Ricky, and getting the mix and mastering and getting the artwork done. Because we got another artwork and it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't what I really wanted to see. So Artie went and did the cover. I told Joey, I know you're watching this. I told Joey, listen, I got the message from CPR. He's not thrilled about the compilation. Whatever he says, let it go. Walk away. There's other people that might like it.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. First thing I get, oh, I'm gonna tell CPR. I was like, yo, Joey, what the hell, bro? Like, I just told you, don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
He did it. Whatever happened, happened. Glad everything was kibosh and fixed.
Mm-hmm.
But when they came to me to do part three, I said, listen, I want total control. I want to pick the artist. If it ain't good, it's not going on this compilation. If it ain't great, it's not going on this compilation. It has to be better than the first two.
Right.
So we started working on it. Joey started distancing himself. And then Ricky, I kept going to Ricky. I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, is he really want to do part three? Or I already got half of the project done. So Ricky told me, Make it yours. You always wanted to do it. Make it yours. In a class it is. So the reason I called it in a class of our own is because I didn't want to be compared. I didn't want none of the artists that I was working with to be saying, "Oh, well, he don't sound like so and so. The production doesn't sound like so and so." And I had a lot of great producers: Fernando de Jesus, Faze. I had Jay Allums. I had Fred Nice, Sasan. I had Artie. So I had a great bunch of producers doing production for different artists, and that's what made it great. It was all different. Nobody sounded the same.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you, GA was on it. I met Susan Santiago through Eric Cruz,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked her to be a part of it. She said, sure. I was like, oh my God, Susan Santiago is like the first legend I have in my freaking compilation, you know? And compilation did freaking amazing, sold 2,000 copies. And I still got left because I went and bought more. And like you said before, I sold 1,000. Let me get another 1,000 and get stuck with them.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Um, but it was great. It was a push. This is the direction you need to go. So I decided to do volume 2
Mm-hmm.
and add more old school into it. Edie joined, Artie and Legit joined, Susan, of course. And again, another great push, another great success. And it was all just us pushing each other because that was my goal, artists pushing each other through. Volume 3 came along. At first, I didn't have no artists. I didn't have no music. You know, I had my core people, Ferdinand, Ricky,
Mm-hmm.
Susan, Shirley, LSP. But that's it. That's all I had. So I'm like, fuck, we're gonna make it an EP, I guess, because we don't have any other artists. So then Andrea came. I got another song. Oh, I did this song for Marcos. I said, all right, cool. Victoria came right. I got this song with Marcos. And I was like, because the original idea for Volume 3 was supposed to be duets.
Right.
Because nobody ever done a compilation of duets.
Right.
So that was my main idea. Who can you pair with somebody and do a great song with? I said, I don't want to do a song with somebody and it's just going to be shitty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was thinking of, all the great duets, the George Lamont with Brenda K. Starr, the Johnny O and Cynthia,
Mm-hmm.
the Collage and Denise,
Raquel.
Raquel. So, like that was the mentality I had. And since nobody ever done a compilation of duets, it was going to be perfect. But of course, that fell through. I still said, fuck it. I'm just gonna do regular songs and then whatever duets we have, we add. So we decided to, like I asked Reynaldo to be a part of it because I was working already on something with him, and he had an idea. We gave it to Artie, and Artie did It's a Sin from forgot the name of the group, but he did that song. Then I asked Joey Kidd. I asked Cito Payne. I asked Peter Fontaine, and everybody was going yes, 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 and I'm like, oh, like a little kid in a candy store. So
Yeah.
now the problem with that is that I had now too many songs.
Yeah.
So then I was like, either I release a volume 3 and volume 4, or cut half of these people out. And I didn't want to do that. And the reason I also didn't, besides not cutting people out, I didn't want to do a volume 3 and volume 4 is because if I do it too quick, my mindset was hot production, releasing things right after
Mm-hmm.
another, people not breathing for it. I decided to do a double CD and did amazing with it. My biggest pet peeve of doing that was that I didn't get people to shine
Mm-hmm.
because there were so many people that nobody was able to shine the way they should have, like the first 2 compilations. So it was basically everybody competing against each other, if you will. I did my job of pushing everybody as far as I did,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, all the negative that happened in the background. It's a live,
Yeah.
live
We
and
we
learn.
we got to speak on this in 2018. My biggest concern was the fact that there were too many artists on the double compilation, and that people were not going to shine. And then you did get opportunities to get on commercial FM radio, um, because of the Bad Boy Richie Rich. But then, one of your own artists cost you to get any further airplay, because what happens is one artist got airplay, they were happy about it, but once they stopped getting the airplay, and then somebody else got the airplay, that artist that got the airplay made your whole compilation and everybody get canceled because of their behavior, which was the issue back then in 2018. And here we are, we're 2021, and we're talking about this now. But, you know, the fact that you were able to give the forefront to artists that wouldn't have that opportunity with these compilations is what makes you an unsung artist in the freestyle community. Because not only have you tried to help people like straightforward entertainment and in their compilations, but then you turned it into compilations for you. I also remember the freestyle fantasy ones from back in the day. And so you've always been in that mindset of inclusion, and also working collectively to promote uh, freestyle, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. Your job and your mindset has always been to promote the music and to promote individual artists, and to also be a family. We can't get all the things that we want, but that is your mindset.
Yeah, no, and that's why you saw the core people that was in volume one appear in volume two and appear in volume three, is because I had that bond with them. I had the trust with them. And I never had to sugarcoat anything. I never had to hide behind anything. I was very open, because I wouldn't, and I said, I posted that the other day. I don't want nothing done to anyone that I wouldn't want done to me.
Yes.
So I'm not purposely going to go and steal from you, because I don't wouldn't want nobody stealing from me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the contracts existed. Everybody got the same laps. There was nobody that was getting royal, the royal treatment, like they will call it. You know, Peter Fontaine got the same thing that Shirley V got.
Right.
Reynaldo got the same thing Ricky got. Victoria got exactly what Joel got. Nobody did anything different, because nobody's special.
Right.
Everybody's special collectively.
Mm-hmm.
The fans of Peter, of the legends, as I call them, JD, Peter. JD was another one that just said, "I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
present." You know,
I love JD.
those people paved the way for everybody else. So we have to respect them as who they are, legends. And those fans that love their past music and was hearing their new music now gets to hear a whole new group of
Mm-hmm.
people that could maybe never heard of, or if they heard of them, they didn't know they had new stuff out.
Right.
So that was always my mindset, to help each other. And I still feel the same way today, that people can work together. They just need to separate what's personal, what's business, what's friendship.
Yes.
That's three different things.
What led you to walk away from the compilations? Because you did a trilogy, and here we are, a good 3-4 years later, and there's nothing else other than Alex Zuñiga albums. Why did you walk away from the compilation process?
The third compilation really broke me mentally, physically, emotionally, because the person you were talking about that shut me down is a person that was in my group years prior, is a person that I knew since 92,
Mm-hmm.
and ruined our friendship, over nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason I'm so hardcore and an advocate of separating the things, and an advocate into respect your friendship. Overall, music is bullshit, but your friendship, that's everything. That's your go-to if you're down. That I
Mm-hmm.
can pick up the phone call, and like I could call Artie right now and say, hey Artie, I'm going through something. He just listens,
Yeah.
talks to me as a brother.
I have the same privilege, and I'm honored to have that.
And that's what people don't understand is
mhm,
the value of, of a person,
mhm.
not even a friendship, not even a best friends, not even a family. As human beings that we are, is that value, that hardcore that keeps us grounded.
Yeah.
The one that can slap you around and tell you, listen, cut your shit, get back on that horse and keep riding it. You'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? That's all we got. I lost my two brothers, and I wish I had them here to bullshit, to hear my brother curse me out and tell him you're an asshole, or tell my brother regañándome
Yeah.
because I'm doing something wrong. I miss that, and that's why I told GA and Juan, not that I envy them, but I bless them that they have that bond.
Mhm.
You know, because I wish I had that. I have my sister, and because of my sister, I did this.
Beautiful, beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying? I did it because I love her, and I I will be there for her to the end of the day.
Mhm,
And that's why I'm saying we have to cherish what we have, and that's
mhm.
what was missing in this industry.
I gotta credit the Papi Chulo status that you have here on your album. I'm Not Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Two different styles on the picture. You have, I believe, it's a hotel room, and there's a woman in the background, and then there's one at the door. You had the Papi Chulo haircut back then. Today you have the modern
Ball.
Stone Cold Steve Austin hairdo.
Yeah.
Tell me about your album. I'm Not Alone. When you moved away from the compilations, you released your own album.
Well,
Um,
believe it or not, I was working on my album on all three compilations. I've been working on my album since 2009. Since 2009, trying to come up with the concept, trying to come up because originally the concept of I'm Not Alone
mhm,
was supposed to be a continuation of Angels in the Skies.
right.
The concept I had was I was gonna be alone on the front cover, but it had a fold that when you open it, all the people were in the background,
Mhm,
all the artists, producers, friends, families that
mhm.
had been behind me this whole time.
I'm not alone. I get it. Awesome, awesome, inspirational and heartfelt gestures that you've also put into your music. There's a lot of thought process that comes to it. That's what makes you an artist. Again, I haven't championed all your music, but I know for a fact that there are songs that you have that I appreciate. Better Than Me, um, Everything, Charisma, Tu Eres Mi Vida, and there's some others on your album too. And the fact that you traveled to New England to promote your album. I keep saying this in the shows, but it's because you wanted to put the mileage in to promote these compilations and your album, that you're able to travel to Massachusetts, 3-4 hour drive, but you're able to do this because you want the betterment of the music, and you also want to show people what is the traditional way of earning an audience. You also traveled to our area to perform as well. Now, why do you still have that mentality now, all these years later, not only to promote your album but to promote the songs that you have?
It's the old school mentality. Is putting the legwork, hitting the pavement. Those are words that we learned back in the days. There was no social media. There was no, if you didn't have a management team or AR to push your stuff
Mm-hmm.
through, you only had yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Going to clubs, taking a cassette, taking a record to the DJ,
Cassette. Haha.
giving it to the DJ. Hey, take a listen. Hopefully you like it and spin it. And if you don't, well, that's one record and one lost sale. And that's the way I always took it. We have to give gratification to the DJs because without them, the fans wouldn't hear us. So, that everybody has to thank somebody behind them, from fans straight down to the artists themselves. But yeah, that was the mentality. And like I told you, the concept for I'm Not Alone was first one thing. But when I did the threesome song, that stood it back on my head. And I said, you know what? Nobody has done this. Let me make a controversial cover. And I called Fernando de Jesus Face because he was doing pictures at that time. And I told him, would you take picture, do the photo shoot for me? When I told him, he goes like, I'm there. I went. I
what
rented
a
a hotel.
what a concept, huh?
Exactly. So I rented a hotel room, uh, and I wanted to look classy. I didn't want it to look like a motel, like cheap
Yeah.
shit. So I went and rented the Hyatt, and people were walking around like, "What the hell's going on?" Because Jesus has the freaking lights outside the freaking thing, like we were doing something crazy in there, and we did the photo shoot. I told him the ideas. Trust me, I got tons of freaking pictures that I could be here forever posting. But then like I wanted to have it to be tasteful, not to be, you know, the girls weren't naked. The girls,
Right.
I wasn't naked. I was shirtless.
Mm-hmm.
I had shorts. The girls had shorts. They had those shirts that just go this way so that the shoulders were showing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at some of them where the towels or the blankets, they're tucked in,
Mm-hmm.
is because they are tucked in into something.
Yeah.
It's being held. Um, but it was just a concept because nobody had it. I wanted to be, like I told you, being different as it was me. So the same process came through the song as well. I wanted to make it more personal. Like the first album was personal, but the second one I opened up my diary and gave you a little piece of me of certain scenarios, if you will. And
I want to ask you a question. Who the hell is Ale Deporte? So I was looking on my iPad because I know that I bought the song, and so I wanted to make sure that people got to see it. So Ale Deporte is your alter ego,
correct.
and this is Sebastian's song, the song you wrote for your son, and you have the icon there. Do you want to talk about your son?
Right there. You see true colors. That's why I love you. Autism. My son's autistic, and I wanted to do something special. Now, Ale Deporte came from two scenarios. First, I was trying to come up with new songs. I
Right.
hit up Lewis, and Lewis said, I got these tracks. Take a listen. Which one you like? We'll work on them. So two of them he had lyrics to. The third one he didn't. Well, actually, one he had lyrics. The other two he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which was Trouble, You Found One,
Mm-hmm.
and Te Vas. I went to his studio. I spent the weekend there. I think I spent 3 days there. We recorded You Found One because again he already had the
Right.
vocals and the lyrics done, so we did that. As we're listening to Te Vas, I'm over here writing, and he said, "So this is what I have for it." And he came up with an English song, and I'm like, "No, I want to do a Spanish song. This is what I have." He goes, "Oh shit, go in, let's start recording." So we started recording. Trouble was a little bit more difficult because it was a little bit more R&B ish, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't come up with anything. And he told me just take it home, think about it. I said, all right, no problem. I hired Artie. Artie wrote Trouble. As we writing the song, I told Lewis I want to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to come up with a concept of my name because I don't want it to be associated because I want to gain new audience. That was
Right.
my mentality. I want to gain people that never heard of who the hell Alex of Latin Nation is.
Ale Deporte.
So Ale is a name that my mother called. She always picked the X.
Ale.
Ale ven para acá. Ale
Mm-hmm.
ven para acá. My grandmother Alito. They always took the damn X out.
Yeah.
So I already had the Ale and Artie. So this is the first time I'm announcing this. Nobody has ever heard this concept.
I can only imagine.
You're getting the exclusive of where Deporte came from. So every time I went to record with him, he always go, Ale Deporte, not admitted without a parent, something like that. He was saying.
Yeah.
And we will always laugh about it. So I'm like, why the hell you call him Deporte? Because it was deported. Because I'm half Mexican, so he was telling me I was
Yes, of
deported.
course.
So when I said like one day we're in the studio recording Trouble, and he said that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use that. He goes, no, you're not. I said, I'm gonna fucking use it. So I told Lewis, so I'm gonna go by Ale Deporte. He goes like, but that's different. And so we laughed about it, and here we are. That's how Ale Deporte was created.
And what about Sebastian's song? Because I said when I first listened to this, you sent me the promo, and I had to buy it because first it sounded like a Disney song, and you sounded amazing. Now, aside from your freestyle stuff, this is a really good song, and you sound great. So Sebastian's song is for your autistic son, Sebastian. It was inspired by him. It is for him. And I think it's just amazing. And I will tell you this: I got an exclusive for you. I teared up when I heard this song. because I'm listening to you. I'm like, what is going on with me? You know, I'm dripping down. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what kind of Disney theme song is this? Why is this? Why is this not in a Disney song? You know, and that's what I say now when I hear stuff that's commercial, and it belongs like on a Disney movie. I say that to Louis Marte all the time. It's so freaking Disney. You know what I mean? And I say that to you as well. But it's just a great song, and I was so honored to buy it and listen to it over and over again and get choked up 3 or 4 times. But it's a really, really cool song.
So I wrote the song. The song was originally called the Colors in Your Eyes. That's the reason I show you the shirt. The Colors in Your Eyes, because when you have an autistic child or any child that has disability, a lot of times you see them space out, and you wonder what are they thinking, what are they looking at, what. And Sebastian at the time used to always look around, laugh, and you're like looking around like, what the hell is it up there that you're like laughing at, you know? So that's what made me write the song. And I sent it to Artie, and I was like, this is what I have. I want to do this song for Sebastian, but I want to add this clip of a video that I have of him counting in Spanish. That's where Artie got the beginning from. And when Artie sent me that, I cried like a fucking baby. Because
doesn't he always get you on purpose?
He does.
Mother trucker, right?
He
always
does.
does that.
And I couldn't wait to go and record it. So I told Sally, I said, listen, I can't take you to the studio like I did with Charisma. You have to chill. I need to do this on my own because I know I'm gonna get all screwed up if I have Sebastian there.
Right.
So I went to the studio and I choked up tons of times in there. And the artist like, just breathe. You got this. Like he made me do some weird different changes and whatnot. And I what I love about Artie is that when I get frustrated, I curse, I'm punching, and then I'm like, because I can't hit certain notes. Breathe. He starts making jokes so I could like loosen up and whatnot. But when I heard him, when I did that, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. Forget about it. Artie goes, yes, for his seat. I'm seeing him from the vocal room going like this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck?
And that's the part that got me. I'm like, how the hell did he hit that note? And number two, oh man, you know, it's great to see these things 20 years apart. Charisma and Sebastian's song, and you dedicating these songs to your children. It's just amazing stuff.
Because going back to the song before I change the subject, it was just touching, seeing his kids. That kid that's on the front cover, his name is Ryan. That's Sebastian's little best friend. They've been together since kindergarten. And I asked his mom, can I have that? Can I use this picture? It has Ryan. Will you give me permission? She's like, oh my God, yes, because she loves Sebastian. So I showed it to his teacher, Miss Kai, the song. She cried. Mr. Chris and Mr. A cried, and they said, we need to show this to the school. So it went through the whole school.
Yeah.
The song. And but anyway, we had I was recording something with him, and I go, watch this. Sebastian, come here. Watch this. Come here. Look at me. I love you.
Love you too.
I love you, Sebastian.
Love you, Daddy.
And that's what he does. And that's the recording I have at the end. Him saying, I love you, Daddy. Forget about it. Everybody in my house cried. Junior still
You
came.
did it on purpose, man. You're setting us up for crying here. What kind of novela you got going on here?
Yes. But I wanted to do a song for each one of my kids because that was my plan. My prince is to Junior. And it's a special meaning that's between me and him until he's old enough to say whatever he has to say. But it's meaningful. So I did the second song that I did for Charisma, which Louis wrote, is also called Beautiful. And it's about basically me walking her down the aisle, and I hope that one day that happens, that I'm able to sing that song for her. So it does just meaningful songs.
Oh, man, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. So listen, before we go, I want you to talk about your sister. You shaved your head. Why did you shave your head?
My baby sister, she's not the baby of the girls, but she's my baby sister. Unfortunately, she has breast cancer. and she's going through that now. 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, she hit me up that no, my wife hit me up and told me that she was crying because she had to shave her head because her hair was just falling like crazy.
Mhm.
So she started shaving it, but she didn't do it all the way because, she broke down. So that hurted me when I heard that. And so when I left work, I called my mother and I said, "Hey, how's Jasmine doing?" And she told me she's crying, she's sad. She tried to shave her head, she couldn't. I said, "I'll take care of her when I get home." And as I got in my car, I just looked up and I said, "God, please give me strength and let me be there for her." When I found out that she had it, I cried I went to the cemetery and I cried to my brothers. I think I never cried as loud as I did, begging them, begging God to give us strength, to give her strength and heal her. So I went straight to the barber and I had just went to get a haircut on that Sunday.
Mhm.
And I asked Noel, so like, "Noel, can you shave my head?" He goes, "Why?" So I explained to him. He goes like, "I totally understand." So he took it off. So I told him how much. And he looked at me and goes, "This is on me." And he hugged me. So I got a video clip of me walking upstairs and just going to my sister. So, "How you doing?" And whatnot, we're talking and everything. And she's looking at me like, "What's going on?" And I took off my hat. She cried. And she cursed the hell out of me because she didn't want none of us to do it. She forbid everybody from doing it. And she didn't tell me. So I was able to get away with it.
Uh-huh.
And she cried. She hugged me. She goes, "You stupid. Why you did that?" And I told her, I said, like, "I'm with you all the way to the end. This is personal.
Mhm.
We're on this together. You're not alone. And we're gonna be with you all the way through." We can do this together. You hear me? You're not alone. Can I get a hug? All the way through. So we hugged it out. She came downstairs. Sally finished cutting her hair, and I told her, "Can I shave the rest of it?" And she told me, "Yeah." So it was an honor and a blessing that she allowed me to shave her. So we got a picture together of us on both heads, and she laughed and we made jokes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a difficult time for our family. Here's another pain in my road that
Mhm.
I have to go through. And
Well, man, I pray for you and your family.
thank you.
I just want to let you know, man, our friendship is not fake. What
Same
we've
here.
developed in the last 20 something years, it's a bond, and it's something that I respect. So understand that your bond with me, your bond with Edie and Artie is something that we needed to discuss together as a group because I admire that bond. It's a bond made out of trust, and it's also made out of just a lot of sisterhood and brotherhood and things that have developed throughout the years, man. And it's important for us to celebrate those things because we are so bogged down with some of the negativity that we don't get to celebrate people that have done good things. And that's why I needed to bring you on this unsung series individually. I've had two of three. Now my next person to come on here is Artie, because all of you have done positive things. Edie was previous to you, and her fight with cancer as well, and her inspirational ways of being and always fighting hard and launching a label by herself as a female, and then going away and coming back. You being here, doing everything the traditional way, uh, making sure that people are getting their shine, putting these compilations out to help the community. And again, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent is irrelevant to the fact that the work has been done. The trips to the studios must be as many as when you went to the Diamante show, right?
The Undertaker, baby.
So and I know that I've said some things about you in the past, but it's all because I've always wanted the best for you. Maybe I come out as a little harsh and rude, but the respect has always been there, and the willingness to wanting to play your music, it has always been there. Because if you came up with everything and you topped it with Better Than Me, if you could do Sebastian songs, there's ways for you to get back to topping those songs. You know what I mean? And that's all I ever want for you is success, success, success. And your biggest revenge is to make me look like I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about. And for you to put out so much good quality music that you'll be undeniable.
At the end of the day, we have to respect each other. Like I told you in the beginning, not everybody's gonna like your stuff. It's cool. Not everybody's supposed to. There's a lot of freaking artists' music that I don't like. That doesn't make them worse people.
Mm-hmm.
They just you just it's not your cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? And we have to learn that. We have to learn how to separate the two. You like the music or you don't. If you don't, switch the channel. Simple as that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, respect is the most important thing, and bond are important thing. And I'm glad that I have a bond with you. I'm
We
glad
do.
that beyond music, there's a relationship there that I can say, hey, I treat him as a friend, as a brother, and he treats me the same way. And that's all that matters at the end of the day to me. And
Mm-hmm.
that should be to everybody. I have given props to a lot of people because they deserve it, because I've seen the hard work. Jose Montalvo, has worked so hard. And I
Rolando Montalvo too, one of my
Rolando
favorites.
Montalvo, correct. Um, you got Shy, you have uh, Ricardo growing, doing his own thing.
This
And
this latest Ricardo Vasquez track, I'm like, I have to play this. I mean, that is the same thing. The same rules that apply to you apply to him, and he's like sneaking up on me with these great
oh
songs.
no,
And I'm
wait till
like,
you hear the other song. Wait till
yeah,
you hear the other song, because he has another song that, oh my god, I fucking love it. I
yeah.
love the song. But I'm telling you, but that's the thing, it's just trying to improve. Jose went from as of today
Mm-hmm.
to love of my life, and he has this other song that he's been working on, and he hasn't went to the studio to record it because we need 150% of him, not 100%. I want
Yeah.
150 because that song is that good.
Well, I'm glad that you're still working with some of the core people that you trust. Before we wrap things up, who do you want to thank? I know there's a list from here to Hawaii, right? But who do you want to thank? And what are your shout outs here before we get out of this episode of Unsung?
There's too many to mention, like, because I appreciate it. And after 33 years doing this, it's just like a huge list of producers and artists and fans and like other people that have been in my life supporting me. I just blessings to every single one of them. Artie is my main guy just because he's been my brother. He's my big brother that I never had.
Mm-hmm.
And he has heard me cry. I have heard him cry. And nobody's going to be like Artie to me because
Right.
of that relationship. He's been there for my kids when they were born. And he's been there when my brothers passed away. Just like Legit, just like Nelson Fast Forward Cruz, God rest his soul. But yeah, no, like Ricardo, LSP crew, my original crew from in a class, Edie, Peter Fontaine, um, Ronaldo, for JD for sticking by me and saying yes and present, San Savan and Sebastian for always just like being so genuine with me,
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, no, there's just too many people to freaking just mention. So yeah, thank you.
I'm going to put links on the description of this episode so you can get in contact with Alex Zuñiga Latin Nation for any compilations. You can get the album, you can get the compilations, you can get his singles. So, Alex, I want to thank you for being part of this episode of Unsung. You are a true unsung hero in freestyle music, and I wanted to make sure that you got your due. I can't wait to see you soon in person, in concert. Hopefully with spiked hair or that lambe baca style that you had before.
The mullet.
And the cockroach killer shoes with the pants, you know what I mean? But thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Unsung.
And make sure you pick up when it's released, because I was supposed to release it this month, but because of what happened, I wasn't able to. I'm the one to blame. Remix Artie Productions, and the song is off the hook. I love it, and big shout outs to GA because he again said present and did backups for that song. So yeah, so make sure you play it. You better play it. But no, don't worry, I got the $50 on the side.
Oh yeah, that's another thing, right? The payola part, but yeah.
So, but no, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening, and thank you for even taking a listen to whatever I send you, whether you play it or not. I appreciate you as a person, as a DJ, as a personality. Thank you.
Until next time, it's CPR saying goodbye. This is Unsung with Alex Zuñiga of Latin Nation. And until next time, it's CPR saying goodbye. And remember, it's not who you love, it's how.
How.
Talk to you soon.
Later.